Around 4 months ago, I did a video voicing my concern about Halo Infinite and what 343 might have in mind for it, with my prime worry being that the game was announced in 2018, set to launch at the end of 2020, and up to that point we had seen absolutely nothing as far as gameplay went. That video absolutely blew up and suddenly became the most popular video on my channel in a matter of days and is currently sitting at around 800 views. Thank you for those of you who watched it for watching it. Here we are a few months of quarantine and a cancelled E3 later, and Microsoft finally showed off gameplay for Halo Infinite at the Xbox Games Showcase, meant to show off games for their mini-fridge. We did get a lot of stuff that people seem to be really interested in. A new Fable game, Stalker 2, apparently Forza Motorsport is getting a complete reboot or something, but what we're mainly going to be focusing on in this video is obviously Halo Infinite and its gameplay reveal. So what did I think? It's what you clicked on the video to hear. I dig certain parts of it, but I also feel kind of underwhelmed. I'm very conflicted about it because I really like certain parts, but at the same time it felt really dull to me. To me, this doesn't look like something 343 spent the past 5 years working on. To be clear, I try to be fair about what I like and dislike about a Halo game. I'm not a blind Bungie worshipper that rides their dick every 3 seconds. Their games aren't perfect. But I also don't blame 343 for, quote, killing their favorite franchise like this idiot whose entire channel is based around ragging people who enjoy the 343 Halo games while he doesn't. Drop your weapons for what I'm about to say, but I honestly don't think Halo 4 or Halo 5 are inherently bad games on their surface. Are they generic? Yeah. Are they bad Halo games? Absolutely, but I think on their own they both actually work quite well and have their own unique qualities. They just don't work that well as Halo games. But back to Halo Infinite, I have a lot to say, so let's get into this. I think Infinite's art design looks nice, but it looks more like Halo in a cinematic trailer than it does actual gameplay. Weapons look pretty cool for the most part. As soon as I saw the assault rifle, it pretty much instantaneously reminded me of the Reach design. The design of the shotgun reminds me a lot of the EVA from Titanfall and Apex, just a little less polished. The battle rifle looks amazing. It brings back that classic design it had in Halo 2, and then I saw the Magnum, and by God does it look horrendous. Like, not even joking, it looks worse than the design they had for it in Halo 2. On a more positive note, the environment looks spectacular and reminds me a lot of how it looked in Combat Evolved Anniversary. I would love to see this game have huge expansive levels like Halo or the Silent Cartographer, the Ark. But this brings me to my next area, which is the fact that Infinite was revealed to be open world. I know a lot of people have clamored for an open world Halo game for years now, but I don't think it would work out, and here's why. In the past 10 years especially, there have been a lot of open world games that have come along to be great games, but don't really benefit all that much from being open world. Apart from being able to look at the pretty environments and that, I don't really see the appeal of Infinite being open world. I think one of the things that made missions like the Silent Cartographer and Combat Evolved so much more memorable is the fact that the game wasn't open world, so the more open levels felt so much more vast and expansive because Bungie gave you the incentive to explore. I feel like the appeal of more open, expansive levels is taken away if the game is just routinely open world. It's like when you're a kid and you get a cookie or soda as a reward for doing good on a homework assignment or something like that. The satisfaction of getting it would start to feel hollow and of less significance if you just got them all the time without working toward it. Then you'd get fat. The only other open world first-person shooters I can think of are Far Cry and Fallout if you count it, and even then, Far Cry doesn't really benefit huge from being open world. I mean, sure, it's there, but more or less just a backdrop for the story and side content, and I hope the same thing doesn't happen with Infinite. Advanced movement is a feature that has been in Halo since Halo Reach with armor abilities, giving you different methods of momentum such as sprinting, double jumping, and sliding. It's also widely been ridiculed as a feature ever since its introduction to the franchise from Reach, so why bring it back in Infinite? Before you Spartan laser me to Bangladesh, I'll have you know that I wouldn't say this under any other circumstances, but I'm fine with advanced movement being in this game only for the campaign because it's open world. Multiplayer is still a big no-no, even though you know they're gonna have it. I feel like even though there are usable vehicles and everything, I feel like it'd be very weird to have a whole sandbox that you can't even sprint around in. It looks like they're bringing back most of the advanced mobility features from Halo 5, like sprinting, double jumping, boosting, as well as sliding and a grappling hook. It's very obvious to me that the grappling hook was implemented because of the sandbox environment, but apparently you can use it for combat as well, which actually looks really cool. As far as multiplayer goes, I rather wouldn't have advanced mobility, but I don't know what else I was really expecting by this point, to be honest. I think it's kind of just a given now. My biggest problem with this is that I feel like with advanced mobility, Halo loses a huge chunk of its core identity. Back in the days of the first 3, the whole point of Halo was that it was slower paced and took more skill than your average multiplayer shooter to get right. When Bungie first introduced advanced mobility to Halo in the form of armor abilities in Halo Reach, it introduced an issue for Halo's identity at large, and 343 would only build on this system when Halo 4 and 5 came out. If I wanted to play a fast-paced multiplayer arcade shooter that was more casual and didn't take as much skill, there are plenty of good COD games out there that people still play. Perhaps the thing that made the classic Halo games stand out to your average multiplayer shooter in the first place was the fact they didn't play like your typical Battlefield or Call of Duty. They had their own identity that was stripped from them with advanced mobility. Out of everything they showed at this reveal, perhaps the thing that caught me most off guard was the fact that this was campaign gameplay only. We didn't get anything for multiplayer or Forge or a possible firefight mode. Maybe this wouldn't be such a huge issue if the game wasn't launching alongside a brand new console in 6 fucking months. I think this goes without saying now, but whatever it is 343 has planned for multiplayer, Forge, and whatever else they might plan to include, they better show it off fast. The last time we went with such little knowledge about a game so close to its release was Death Stranding, and if that's any indication, I'd take it as a warning sign. Again, the lack of multiplayer, Forge, and whatever else makes me feel like this isn't something 343 has spent the past 5 years on. I don't doubt they have, it just doesn't look like it. I want to see what multiplayer is like, what they plan to do with Forge. You can't just drop all of this on me right now and only cover the rest even closer to its release. This game was announced 2 years ago now, and in that time, 343 could have been a lot more productive about what they've been doing. Some might say it's Halo 5 support, but I don't see that. Somebody else might say it's because of the Master Chief Collection coming to PC, but even then I don't really see that either. Nothing about 343 being so secretive makes any sense to me. Again, this would be a lot more acceptable if the game wasn't launching at the end of the year, let alone as a killer app launch title for Microsoft's next generation console. It just doesn't make sense to me. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my thoughts on this game. Even if you disagree with me, I hope that at the very least you hear where I'm coming from. I don't want this game to disappoint, but at this point I'm very unsure. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. More on the way. My name is Johnny Seizure. Thank you so much for 100 subscribers, and I will see you soon.